Cities and towns can be important landmarks in many books. Today I'm talking about different details you can incorporate into world building them. Cities and towns can be so important in fantasy books that I think they need their own video for this series. This is going to be the 4th video in my world building for fantasy series, and I'll link the rest in a playlist up in the cards. The purpose of this video series is to provide a jumping off point for beginner fantasy world builders and to show you how different world building elements can affect your stories. This is geared towards writers, especially novelists like myself. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to refer to anything that is a village, outpost, town, city, capital, or citadel, or anything else like that as just a settlement, just for ease of speaking. But basically, I mean anywhere that the people in your world have gathered and created a home community. So first is going to be location. And you don't have to have a whole world map figured out, but just get an idea of where the settlements you're going to be writing about are located. Is the capital city on the northeast coast? Is the small town where the main character starts out on the western plains? So if the people of your world are anything like the humans of Earth, then you're probably going to have your settlements near a water source. But the people of your world could have totally different values as well. If they need some kind of mineral for power sources, then they will probably settle near large deposits of this mineral. Or if there are frequent natural disasters, maybe they mostly live in areas where these occur less frequently. The location of settlements in your world will probably also vary a lot depending on what your main mode of transportation is. If horses are how most people get around in your world, then you're probably going to have settlements a lot closer together. But if everybody takes a dragon to work, you can probably have cities in the cliffsides with no problem. What is the actual space that your settlement takes up? How long does it take to get from one side of the settlement to the other? And is there any reason it's laid out or shaped the way that it is? And what kind of roads does the settlement have? A small village will probably only have dirt paths, but a larger city could have paved roads. Next is population. So approximately how many people live in the settlement? A fun trick is to look up towns that you're familiar with in our world and use that as a guide for population size. Who makes up the majority of the population? If your world has more than one fictional race, is this settlement mostly elves and this settlement mostly humans, or are they pretty intermixed? Next is names. Settlements are typically named after things like landmarks, events, or historical figures. This would give you names like Captain's Landing, Silver River, or Jamestown. Names aren't something that I as a reader ever really question, and there's something that I as a writer like to have fun with. In my series, I named some of the towns after things that were sitting on my desk, but rearranging the letters. So, large towns and cities will often have ways to distinguish the different areas. These can be named, or they can just be known as things like the Southern District. What are most of the structures in the settlement made of? If it's a small town in the middle of the forest, you're probably going to have a lot of buildings made of lumber. But if it's a city in a mountain, you're more likely to see maybe stone and more ornate buildings. Your settlement might be based around the local mine or some kind of special landmark like an ancient magical tree. Depending on your other world building and the size of your settlements, you might have places of worship or other such important locations inside your towns. These might be really modest buildings in small towns, or it could be a large temple inside a city. Laws. Again, depending on your world building, laws, rules, and ordinances could be different in your city compared to the country as a whole. What is the crime like in the settlement? Do your settlements have some kind of sheriff or law enforcement, or is it just up to the people of the settlement? Next is commerce. Everybody's got a shop, so where do people buy stuff? Or trade for stuff? Is there only one tiny general store in the outpost? Or do the people of the settlement only buy things from traveling merchants? If it's a larger city, you might even have more than one marketplace for, general people shopping and then for business trades. What are the local businesses? How much do people here do on their own versus go to others for, like clothing or baking? And of course, you cannot forget the inns. Inns are a hallmark of fantasy and pretty much essential if your main mode of transportation across your lands is horses. Inns are a hub of activity. They're going to be where people in the town gather to talk, and they're also going to be where mysterious travelers encounter locals and vaguely answer their questions. You can also consider your settlement's imports and exports. If it's a large city, you will have maybe one or two main exports depending on the location and who lives there. Also consider what this place does not have. It could just be luxury items, or it could be some kind of necessity like wool or wheat. Lastly is going to be maps. Some writers like to use maps to help them visualize their settlements while they're writing. There's a surprising amount of free programs out there that you can use to generate maps for your cities or even your worlds. I'll leave a link to some popular ones down below if you'd like to check them out. If you'd like to dive into the world of Alexia, you can check out Age of the Gods, which is a free short story I'll have linked down below. Alright, that's all I got for you, so thanks for watching. Bye!